It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday, March 4th. How is everyone doing on this Tuesday? We have officially passed the Monday. Yesterday was such a Monday. Did anyone feel like it? Thank you so much for joining me on my double dose of Donna last night. My husband joined me for a special Monday Night Live here where I felt like we needed to have an emergency, this is war episode. I felt like I needed to document what I feel like can only be described as an attack on content creators. If you don't know what I was talking about, go on and listen to last night's episode after this one. I will link it in the show notes a little bit later. Lance and I talked a lot about everything that's going on. And then we talked about this weird phenomenon that happened over on Instagram and on TikTok exactly when I said, she who shall not be named. We don't know what we should call her yet. We're between Ursula, Veruca Salt, or we can just call her Flake. We don't know what to call her, but we will not be calling her what she used to be called, the Red Siren, anymore. I want to be able to call her what I want to call her here on YouTube. I think on YouTube we can still call her what she's called. But over on Instagram and TikTok, I think we need to remain safe. But today we have a show where we can talk about all kinds of things, including, the Dragon Lady. We will be talking about Jax Taylor with a stunning announcement that I think all of us knew was going to come at some point, but I'm actually kind of surprised that it did. And I did listen to the show and then a reaction from his ex-wife, Brittany, or I guess they're still technically married, his ex, Brittany Cartwright. We're going to be talking about Kristen Cavallari has a very fun announcement, some other little Bravo news, and of course, some It Ends With Us updates, and a find from my girl, Elsie from Fafo and Associates that I thought was really, really interesting. So much to come, as always, on Daily Dose of Donna. Yes, you can still say my name. I'm not banned yet. I just took a Claritin or like a Zyrtec or something. I'm feeling the allergies out of control. And I'm going to say it's her fault. Now, when anything bad happens in life, it's going to be Flaky Siren's fault. Okay? Let's come up with the worst name ever. Flaky buttocks. Oh my God. We talked about perineums today in my workout. If only I could just tell you guys the fun things that come up in my life when it comes to perineums. I mean, who knew that perineums were going to become a conversation that would happen in my life? But yes, they did. In fact, it was funny because even Brian Friedman came up in the same conversation with perineums. It was good. It was a good one. I did have a conversation about Brian Friedman, someone that actually knows Brian Friedman in real life. And I said, I actually really like Brian Friedman. I'm like, he's a good guy, right? And the person that I was speaking to was like, yeah, he's a great guy, unless he's suing you. And I was like, yeah, we do not want to be on the opposite side of Brian Friedman ever. Yesterday, I was thinking about, perineum should be his name. Veruca and perineum. Do you think we can go with that? A Veruca Salt. But Veruca sounds fancy. I think it needs to be uglier than Veruca. Perineum. Ballbuster. Ballbuster also sounds a little too hot. It needs to be something that just gives off a little bit more of taking me down. We're going to have to come up with something. I can't do clit and perineum, you sickos. I know what you're thinking. All right. We cannot do clitorals and perineum. This is a family show. Please put your kids away. Suppositories and perineum. Brought to you by what is the thing that you're supposed to put on your hemorrhoids? What's the cream that you're supposed to put on your hemorrhoids? I should really get that as a sponsor. The hemorrhoid cream. Robin, I'm not saying it out loud, so I'm going to make you say it out loud. Okay. And if you're on YouTube, you can see it on the screen. I'm not a sicko like you guys. Preparation H. This episode is brought to you by Preparation H. We should call him Preparation H. Preparation H. That is hysterical. Literally, Preparation H would be so smart to give Ryan Reynolds a sponsorship. And I said his name. And the reason why is because this guy has really brought attention to the perineum area, attention that perineum has never gotten it before. Like perineum has been used in Google searches more in the year 2025 than it's had in years and years and years. Like we've never talked. I didn't even know how to say the word in December of 2024. I thought it was perineum. Remember how much I got schooled by the nurses of TikTok? I had no idea. Perineum, Preparation H should be so grateful for Justin Baldoni exposing, Deadpool's text messages. I bet you that Ryan Reynolds was the guy dancing at the Oscars in the Deadpool suit. I bet you, because that's the only job he can take. And I bet you that he got paid a lot of money for it, because I am hearing through many of people, including, you can find here on YouTube many videos out there exposing that he's not doing so well in the business land right now. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes about stock being sold, about stock going down with Aviation Gin, with his companies, with Wrexham. There's a lot of begging for money in a jokey way. There's stuff happening with Maximum Effort. Now, I haven't dived deep into it, so I'm not exactly sure what to do if it's like to go into that story right now. I don't want to say anything out of school. And of course, they are they've got their lawyers on the prowl, and I'm convinced they're watching me. They're 100% watching me. Like probably, they probably hired Vicente, my gardener, and he's probably now no longer my gardener. He's probably now a spy. I can't trust anyone anymore. Truthfully, my dog Frankie, who sits in here, is probably tapped. Should I check my dog for a wiretap? I'm convinced someone in my life is listening. Do you think Vicente is on my side still? Vicente's been here from the beginning. You guys know. If you're an OG doser, you know Vicente's been here from the beginning. I hope he still is on my side. I'm convinced. I'm convinced they've got me wiretapped. Paranoid? Much? I'm joking. Sorta. If Frankie's been bugged, that's a lawsuit. Frankie's an old woman. And Frankie sleeps with me at night, okay? Frankie's hearing a lot of stuff at night. You know what I mean? Like Love is Blind. Because I watched last night. And let me just tell you, this show is... I'm not going to give you a full Love is Blind recap, but are you watching Love is Blind right now? Are you watching Love is Blind? If you're not, you're okay, because it's really the worst season of Love is Blind you ever saw in your life. It is really the worst Love is Blind you ever saw in your life. You're not missing anything. There is nothing happening in Love is Blind. The most exciting thing that is happening in Love is Blind is that they put them all in a fake ski slope on tubes and film themselves going down together. There's nothing happening on the season. It is so bad. It's so boring. It's so horrible. But I'm convinced that one of the guys is actually in love with his sister, because he doesn't want to introduce the girl he's dating to his sister. He's so concerned about this elusive sister who I don't know if she even exists. This is Dave and his sister. It's horrendous. It's so bad. You're not missing out. Love is Blind, do better. In these times, in this economy, with the amount of money that we pay Netflix, I want my money back. I want my money back. Love is Blind You really fucked up. Never ever go, no offense, Minnesota. Is it Minneapolis? Minnesota? Is Minneapolis in Minnesota? Questions. Swear, this is no offense to you guys. I am not a geography person. I've said this many times. Blame it on the blonde hair. I have no idea. I can't tell you where anything is in different states. I know a little bit about California, maybe a little bit about Arizona, Nevada. This is something I am not schooled in. It's the most boring cast I've ever seen in my life. Minnesota, not for me. Let's move on. We got to get into some of the stories because I feel a little bit, my ADHD is ADHDing. Wow, Donna. Hold on. You hate women. You hate Minnesota. I'm a goal ghoul. Someone wrote in my comments yesterday, are you intentionally pronouncing ghoul like goal? And I'm like, yeah, I'm goals. I'm not a ghoul. I'm goals. Don't forget, I also apparently, allegedly, according to the haters, hate gay people. Remember that? Of course not Zach Peter, because I love Zach Peter so much. I love them all. I love them all. I love them all. Okay, so Brian is trolling me now because he says Minneapolis is obviously in Alabama. If you say it 2 times, I will believe you. So don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck me. Okay, let's move on to the next story. We have so much to talk about. Let's start with Jax Taylor. Breaking news. Breaking news. How many of you guys in the audience here were shocked to find out that Jax Taylor came out as an addict? As an addict, okay? Not came out of the closet. Don't be crazy. As an addict. I'm going to play a little clip of him talking about it on the Bravo's Hot Mic podcast. This is Alex Baskin. He is one of the executive producers of Vanderpump Rules and The Valley and Real Housewives, a bunch of the Real Housewives, etc. He's only had Jax Taylor on his podcast about 975 times, but he had him on his podcast, and this is him talking about it. Hold on. Let's hear it, and then let's dissect it. This is from the Talk of Shame's clip.
I've been waiting for a long time to do this. I'm nervous, and I felt like, this was the time to do it. We have season 2 of The Valley coming out shortly, and I feel like sometimes because there's so many cast members that the whole story of each person is not told, fully. And I kind of wanted to come out and kind of talk about the struggles that I've been going through for a very, very long time. And I kind of wanted everyone to know, this is what happened. I'm kind of coming, this is tough to say. So I am coming out that I'm an addict. I have substance issues, primarily with cocaine. That's hard to say out loud. Yeah, I've been dealing with this for, I think, the last, on and off since I was 23. So I'm 45. So give or take, I've been, there's times where I would stop doing it, but then there was times where I'd go heavy on it. I think a lot of people who watched Vanderpump Rules over the years could kind of tell that I was on something. Obviously production and people, they didn't know what I was doing. Everything I was doing is on my own, but I was just, on that train, and I couldn't get off. And then people ask, do you have an alcohol problem too? I don't necessarily think I have an alcohol problem, but the two go hand in hand. So I can't do cocaine without drinking. So I just gave up both. And I'm proud to say I'm 83 days sober right now, which is the longest I've ever gone in my life without either.
Well, here's what I have to say about it, and I'm curious what your comments are. First of all, Aaron says, I can't leave any kind comments for you on Threads or Facebook. They've all been reported, even though not hateful. I have screenshots and receipts of responses. Keep going, Donna. Plantation Barbie is what we call her here at my house. That is really, really sad. And I'm sorry, Aaron. And thank you so much for the super chat. And that's crazy. This is the kind of stuff I'm getting in my DMs nonstop. People are saying I'm getting reported when I leave comments for you. I follow you and I get unfollowed. I subscribe here on YouTube and I get unsubscribed. As you guys see, numbers are different on my YouTubes. I was talking to Sharsti on Sharsti Fla again this morning. She said my numbers on my YouTube are so much lower yesterday than they've ever been. I've noticed a shift in numbers completely myself. Things are shifting 100%. So thank you. I will get back to Jax in just a second, but thank you. I wanted to shout out your super chat. Definitely. And we will get into this story and how it's attacking creators. And I'm sure that there is a story behind that. So thank you for that. Make sure to subscribe right now, you guys. By the way, this would be a really good moment to make sure that you're subscribed below and put that bell on. And make sure to hit the like and comment, like hit the engagement circuit, because that just like triggers more people to come and see this video. That helps me tremendously. And also, if you're listening on the audio platform, don't forget to leave 5 stars and write a review. That helps with engagement. Thank you. Okay, so back to Jax. So here's my thoughts about Jax. Okay. Number one, I will never judge someone for coming clean and coming sober. Obviously, that is the hardest thing a person can do, right? If you are an addict and you go sober and you get clean, like, bravo. That is an incredibly hard thing. I've never had to do that myself. I mean, the closest I've gotten was when I was younger. I was a cigarette smoker, like when I was in college. So that was hard enough to do, was stop smoking after college. And that is a crazy, crazy hard thing to do. So I would 100% never imagine how hard it would be to stop a drug like cocaine, and especially connected to alcohol. He's around alcohol 24/7. He's constantly, drinking. He's in the bar world, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all good. And I completely, agree. Look at this. Laura just said, I just checked and I was unsubscribed. This is seriously a thing that's happening. My unsubscribes are going, like, people are unsubscribing or getting unsubscribed constantly. Thank you. So addiction is a disease. Addiction is a major epidemic. It's a big problem. So I will always credit him. And that's a big thing, to come out in a public forum like a podcast that will get all eyes on and ears on him. Where it gets a little bit tricky is, and I don't want to come out like a judgy person, but it's because it's Jax. And I don't, tell me if you guys understand where I'm talking about. So Jax is 83 days sober. 83 days sober is incredibly hard. 1 day sober is hard, right? 2 days, 3 days. That's great. That's amazing. It's wonderful. I just struggle with him because everything he does feels manipulative. And I don't know why I always get this vibe from him. I feel like he is a big person that likes to boast about how amazing he's changed and how much he has done better and how much he is like more of an amazing person. Like, it never feels genuine or authentic with him. Everything he does feels like a show, like he's putting something on. Michelle says he's a manipulator, so it's hard to take what he says at face value. That's kind of where I get with Jax. It's so hard for me to take his word for what him at face value. Now, he also mentions a few other things. He says he actually only went to treatment for 17 days, which is a little weird. That's also hard. Number 2, he also says that there's a couple of things that he said were a little bit tough. He's still talking about the fact that he doesn't get along well at all with Brittany. He's like, I never know with her. Sometimes she's happy with me. Sometimes she's mad at me. Sometimes she's happy. I have to walk on eggshells around her, which feels very much like he's blaming her still for their bad relationship. But then he like quickly course corrects. And he's like, but she's an amazing mom. She's wonderful. She's incredible. She's wonderful. So it's like he has to remind himself, I'm on a public podcast and I have to make people like me. But then he completely again turns and puts it on her, where he says, you know, I just don't know with her. I just can't tell if she's going to be mad at me, but she's an amazing person. She's wonderful. He talks about the fact that the thing that really put him over the edge was the fact that he found a text on her phone of her texting his friend Julian. This is after he basically got Brittany to break up with him. He said this is something that he's always done in relationships. He always tries to get his girlfriends to break up with him. He always tries to get the girls to end things with him. So he's a complete jerk and an asshole to them. He tries to get them to leave him. So he was trying desperately to get Brittany to leave him by being a complete jerk. We saw this in the last season of The Valley. Finally, he gets her to leave, or gets her to break up with him, or gets him to break up with her, whatever. Finally, she decides to start moving on, and he sees the text messages between her and Julian, this guy. And that's when he flips out. And he says, thank fucking God my son was upstairs because I lost my ish. And he says, she jaxed me. That's never happened to me where someone jaxed me. She played me at my own game. Meanwhile, this is a man who has slept with his best friend's girlfriends, ex-girlfriends, and girlfriends. This is someone that has slept with his current girlfriend's best friends or friends, Faith, etc. He's cheated on multiple girlfriends. Like, this is a crazy, crazy projection. He broke up with Brittany, and then she started kind of talking to another guy. And he's blaming this crazy explosion addiction on her. It's so not appropriate. Then he says, I'm like a hose. I finally figured out the alcohol and cocaine issue. And now I have another hole popping up. What's the other hole? Alex Baskin asks, and he says, my ego and my insecurity. I have a constant need to get women to feed my ego and insecurity. I need a woman to constantly be, feeding my ego. So I'll be texting women at all hours, all the time. And I think he's meaning up until this moment to come over, to text me, to feed my ego, to sleep with. I don't even care who. So ladies, if you're listening to this and Jax Taylor has sent you a text in the last 6 months asking you to come over and, give him any pleasure, either it's by text or by physical, whatever, like, he's telling you he doesn't give a shit about you. Do not do it. What? He's straight up saying, like, I don't even know who I'm texting. I don't even care who I'm texting. It's all about me. That's wild. That's wild. So it's really, really bad, right? It's really bad. So there's a lot going on there. And I don't feel like he's healed in any possible way. Now, Brittany, his ex, has responded. And she has responded by saying, after he has revealed his issues, she has responded by saying, in people, I'm glad that he finally, should I do it in a Brittany accent? She goes, after our date night, I'm glad that he finally admitted to what was really going on. I can't do it. No one can do Brittany like Brittany. For the first time, I can speak openly about the extent of trauma he's instilled on our family over the years. I've tried desperately to help him without success. I pray that one day he completely knocks this addiction, but I'm skeptical. She knows. She knows he's a damn liar. His behaviors are still alarming, and his treatment plan seems to be the bare minimum. Cartwright adds, I'm trying to navigate this as best as I can for my son and I, but every day is still a challenge and very difficult. Jax has caused an enormous amount of damage, and I have very little trusted him at this point. My only hope is that one day he will be a better person for his son. She doesn't fall for his shit at all. He's a liar. He's a liar. That boy's a liar. That he should go and hang out with Snakey, with Veruca, with Ursula. You know, the girl that likes to take away people's voices. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan. I'm really not. And I also have a personal issue with Mr. Jason Taylor, Jason Couchy, because I went to his bar, which is walking distance from my house, on a Saturday night at 9 p.m., and that shit was boring and dead. It was dead, dead, dead. And then I posted about it on my podcast and on my stories. And that guy blocked me on Instagram. And when I tell you to block a podcaster and a creator who talks about you on your podcast, who talks about your show and stuff, to block is so stupid. I mean, I understand your feelings are hurt and you were probably high on cocaine, but to block me is so silly. Don't block. Just maybe say, hey, sorry you had a bad night. Come on over. I'll show you a good whatever. But you blocked me. So now we're not on good terms. I'm on Brittany's side. Team date night. Team date night. Okay. Team Brittany on this one. Bye. You say I don't support women? I don't support liars. Got it? On to the next. On to the next story. Right? On to the next story. Not a fan of liars. Is there anyone here? Look, but at the same time, if he is actually, I'm like, at the same time, I am happy for him. Look, I want him to be healthy. Can we say that out loud? I want him to be healthy, and I don't want people to think I'm a hater for sober. Okay? So good for him. Now, this next story is going to be sponsored by HONEYLOVE because spring is finally upon us. Well, in a few days, and my allergies are feeling it. But as we regain the will to leave our homes and get back into the wedding season swing, it's time to get dressed up again. Oh, that reminds me, I have a party to go to on Saturday. And a great outfit always starts with great shapewear. Let's be real. No one has time for shapewear that feels uncomfortable or restrictive. Luckily, you don't have to settle for that. Today's episode is brought to you by HONEYLOVE, the brand that's completely reimagined shapewear. HONEYLOVE uses targeted compression to sculpt and smooth where you want it and ease off where you don't. That means it's super effective and comfortable to wear all day long. It's shapewear that works with your body, not against it. The difference? You'll feel it and see it immediately. Plus, flexible boning in the side seams prevents it from rolling up or down, so you'll never have to sneakily adjust it in public again, even after a night of dancing. Plus, their shapewear features lingerie-inspired details that you'll want to show off. And here's the best part. For a limited time, you can get HONEYLOVE on sale. Save 20% off your entire order with our exclusive link, honeylove.com/dailydose. Support the show and start your year off right by checking them out at honeylove.com/dailydose. Thank you, HONEYLOVE. Okay. So last night, I came on live here to talk about Brandon Sklenar, and I was met with like a little bit of a controversy. Do you think that Brandon Sklenar was speaking up on Justin Baldoni's side or not by wearing this rose, this flower? Long live the roach. And people were very on like, what's it called? On the fence about this, even in my comments. Half the people were saying abso-freaking-lutely. This was a sign that he 100% supports Blake Lively. I mean, supports Justin Baldoni because his brooch matches exactly the one that Justin Baldoni wore on his premiere night. But then other people were saying, and this is a picture of it, other people were saying, this feels like just a flower, which represents, you know, everything that is Lily Bloom, everything that is snaky flaky, right? So Veruca, Ursula, we still haven't made up our minds there. So you guys, I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to workshop. We're workshopping, okay? So I would like to know in the comments here, if you see this and you know that it's exactly Justin Baldoni's floral arrangement on his lapel. Is that what you call it? A lapel? What would your take be? When I saw it, my first immediate feeling was, bam, Justin Baldoni support. That was my immediate feeling. And then I started to question everything, seeing your guys' comments. I think it's too intentional at this point. I think everything you do is too intentional. And remember, he also was very clearly running away, word salading from this experience, talking about it on the red carpet. If you already have stood by Blake Lively publicly, which he did the day of the New York Times article, then you would absolutely, specifically continue to stand by Blake Lively publicly in these days. Because if you don't, then you're obviously pulling away your support. See, you can't support someone loudly and then not support her loudly, because to support someone loudly and then not support her is basically saying, I don't support her. Do you get what I'm saying? If you if you are saying the same, if you were saying, like, to say nothing at all means you don't support. If you are changing your mind and not saying anything, it shows me that your support has wavered. His team, someone said here in the comments, if he didn't know, his team 100% would know. Right now, too many eyes are on this man. He was asked the question with Gayle King on that morning show, and all eyes were on him. So many articles picked it up. It was on Daily Mail. It was Page Six. All of the TikTok creators, etc. His team at William Morris, his manager, his publicist, whatever, they know that every single move this man makes right now will be fine picked apart by the lawyers, by the publicists, by the people, by the creators. He ain't doing anything by accident right now. It's like a Taylor Swift move when she goes to games, or when she releases a Instagram post, or when she does something interesting. The Eras girls, the Swifties, they pick everything apart. It's all Easter eggs, right? It's not a joke. It's not a by accident move. So if you go into, what this uh what's it called? I can't even think right now. The brooch. So, the stylist is Madeline Kennedy. She's the stylist. Now, she's not really specifically saying anything, but she clearly styles hottie Brandon Sklenar. I'm sorry, I have to say that I think he's a good-looking man. Don't judge me. I mean, I can see, I have eyes, okay? I think he's hot. I do. I'm sorry. She's not saying much about it. She's saying shout out to Violetta Group for sourcing this beautiful midnight navy. He's wearing a navy shirt with a black suit. I thought that was not allowed. She said Dorazio World and Annabella Chan for the brooch. So if you go to Annabella Chan, this is Annabella Chan. Okay. Annabella Chan is who does the jeweler. She's the jeweler. And she posted about it here. I wonder if any comments were about it. No one wrote a comment or anything about it. That's the brooch up close. I mean, it's beautiful. I just want to know, what does it mean? And let's go down a little bit and see if it shows up anywhere else. What are the dates on these? December 20th. Let's go down. Let's go to August. We're doing deep diving. Deep diving on Daily Dose of Donna. Oh, there's dogs. Oh my God. Is this when Bronwyn, remember Bronwyn from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, got her dog in some jewels? Okay, this is August. Let's see if when Justin was in it, was he photographed? He wasn't. Well, not yet. Let's see. Hold on. We're almost there. No. So Justin at the premiere wearing the exact same brooch was not photographed on her Instagram. Well, that's interesting. Breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs. Well, listen, I'm not exactly sure what the meaning was. I don't exactly know if there is a truth behind all of it. It says Anna follows Blake and Ryan. Well, of course, listen, the photographer, I mean, the jeweler is going to follow big celebrities. I mean, that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. She's probably gifted jewels to big celebrities before. I'm not like, I don't think that is a show of support on who she believes in the it ends with us thing at all. That doesn't surprise me at all. I don't think you can take every follow in these worlds or in these stories. Like, you can't really look at that as like, oh my God, does she follow a jeweler? Because she's probably given jewels to Blake Lively in the past. I mean, this is a woman that gives jewelry to celebrities, and Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are celebrities. They are the bigger celebrities. Justin Baldoni is not. That doesn't surprise me whatsoever. The question is, are we convinced or do we know for sure that Justin Baldoni's brooch on the red carpet at It Ends With Us was Anna's? Okay, it says, Donna, check her pinned stories on it. On it, because you guys are just as crazy as I am. The Oscars shop earrings, men's brooches. Which ones? Hold on. Annabella San. Is there a specific one that I should check? Hold on. Let me go through. Oh my God. She has too many pin stories. Like, how am I going to? Okay. Let me go back to your guys' comments. Which ones? Men's. Men. Wasn't that the Charlie Sheen show? Men. This is a really good audio podcast today. It's a great show. Daily Dose of Donna, audio style. I'm sure you guys are really enjoying this. Okay, here we go. Last deep dive moment. I'm going to make it bigger for you guys. Okay, men's. This is 49 weeks ago. Unless there's a newer one. Oh, it's all the brooches. Okay, there's a man wearing the brooch. A man wearing the brooch. A man wearing the brooch. Lots of men wearing the brooches. Lots of men wearing the brooches. Okay, 37. Oh, Justin Baldoni. There we go. Justin Baldoni wearing the brooch. Good job, my friend. Good job, KT. We found it. There we go. Justin Baldoni. Justin Baldoni wearing the brooch. Okay, so it is the same designer. It's the same designer, same brooch. Thank you for your detective work. Fantastic. We did it. Daily Dose of Donna on the case. We are not just an entertainment podcast. We are also PI, private investigators. We found it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And if you are a man who wants to really, show your manliness, you got to wear a brooch now. Okay. So now I know what I'm getting Lance for Father's Day. A brooch. So it looks like she put it on her stories, but maybe she never put it on her feed. But a lot of these stories, it looks like she didn't put on her feed. Maybe she only saves like certain stories for her feed. I wouldn't take it like personally, but it's interesting that she doesn't follow him on Instagram, but maybe she doesn't follow everyone on Instagram. It's kind of interesting. Let me see. Yeah, she doesn't follow him. That is interesting. So this was 29 weeks ago. Huh. 29 weeks ago. Well, and then again, by the way, you guys, maybe you never know. Maybe he was on her feed. And maybe when this whole thing came out and Blake Lively, claimed that Justin Baldoni was a sexual abuser and everyone went against Justin Baldoni, maybe she was like, Jesus, I'm getting him off my feet. Just like Vital Voices was like, I am rescinding the award. Think about how many people probably freaked out, you know? Sally just said, did Brandon unfollow Justin because he's following Justin now? Is that possible? I didn't check. Mrs. Busted, Can of Biscuits, my favorite, says, we need Donna to get to 40,000 subscribers. Yes, you guys, my goal is to get to 50,000 subscribers. So please, please, please subscribe. Thank you so much for being here and subscribing. That's the goal. Come on, you guys. We were doing so well. We were growing. Come on, we were growing and showing just like a good, you know what? Okay. Let's check and see if Brandon Sklenar is actually following Justin Baldoni, but I can't imagine that's the case. I would be shocked if he is because people would lose their damn minds, but he's still following. No, he's not following Justin Baldoni. He's following Van City Reynolds. I did see that. Okay, let's move on and talk about the next part of that story. We're not sure exactly if he is showing support for Justin Baldoni or if he just likes the brooch. We don't know. Next, we have to talk about the war against creators very briefly. I do have a call with someone to talk about this a little bit later. Lots of support coming out behind the scenes. Elsie from Fafo and Associates, I want to show you guys a reel that she just showed us. Elsie is, oh, wow. Wow, look at that. I have to delete this. So I created a TikTok after Blake Lively's first original complaint, her CRD complaint, where I said, I support Blake Lively. And I am so, so sorry that I was, one of the people that kind of jumped on the hate train because of the smear campaign. I believed Blake Lively in those 10 days until Justin Baldoni came out with his complaint or his lawsuit. And I was just so shocked that I fell for it, the smear campaign. And that was in December. And Isa says here in my comments saying your TikTok defending Blake Lively was on my FYP today. So a 3-month-old TikTok was on her FYP today. That's crazy. Oh my God. Yes, me too. I got to go delete this. How embarrassing. I have to go delete this. This is real embarrassing. People are going to be like, Donna, you changed. People are going to unfollow me. Okay, so next, let's go to talking about the war on creators. A lot has happened to me. A lot is, effing with my numbers, my unsubscribes, my audio got cut out last night. As you guys saw, I talked about this on the show last night, how my audio cut out the second I said her name on my Instagram. I'll play it exactly for you guys here again, just to show you how real this is. I've never had this happen ever before to my show or to my Instagram before. It is so strange. And what's weird about it is that you can see actually that I don't even cut the video. It's not like it happens, because I did an edit. It's as I am speaking, the audio just mutes, which is clearly something out of my control. And it didn't happen when I was putting the words on the screen or like rewatching it before I press publish. It happened once I published the video. Check it out for yourself. What you're doing, stop what you're doing, stop whatever you're doing right now. This is very important. A little birdie named Elsie from Fafo and Associates, my new best friend, just sent me a text and said, hey, Brandon Sklenar just posted an Instagram post of him, last night at the Vanity Fair party, at the Oscars Vanity Fair party, looking mighty handsome. Brandon Sklenar from It Ends With Us, formerly Team Blake Lively, he posted that. What is that? Like, what is that? It literally just stops. The volume just stops. So it really kind of freaked me out. And it was Crazy. And it happened on both TikTok and Instagram. So that was like a crazy thing where they basically set out some like bots to kind of shut down my feed, and they have something on me because now I've been in Instagram jail. My numbers are getting shifted. People are getting unsubscribed, etc. I'm getting so many DMs saying that they can't comment on my stuff, whatever. So I have a call with someone, a reporter, about this in just a little bit. I've been talking to Sharsty about this a lot. I've been talking to a lot of people about this. It's clearly an issue. It's happening all across the board. And I got DMs from multiple people yesterday saying I'm not the only one whose audio is getting cut out. So this is what they're doing next. Now, what I'm asking is for this Mr. PR CIA Nick Shapiro dude. We are on to you. Like, we see you. We're documenting all of this, all of us creators. We have voices. There's thousands of people that watch my show every day. We're all seeing it out loud. You're going to have to stop what you're doing and find a better way, because there's something going on here that, like, at some point you're going to have to realize we're on to you, right? We are on to them. And they're going to have to pull back their obvious approach. See, with Justin, they went after Justin by saying, like, you did this smear campaign, this kind of organic, hard to find, behind the scenes smear campaign where we can't trace anything. But this is crazy. This is the most obvious thing ever. You can't fake this unless they have hackers that are trying to, like, screw over her team where she can say, like, this isn't us. But this is so obvious. This has never happened to me before. How could you put this? What are the chances? What are the chances? Right? Meanwhile, I have to show you another. So I'll keep you guys posted on that and see it. But my guess is that it's going to slow it down, or it's going to slow down. The war on creators, I think, is going to slow down rather than ramp up, because we're talking about it so loudly. And I have a feeling that it's going to kind of quiet down, because they're going to say, uh-oh, this is going to be really bad for our case. Because there's no question that that Baldoni's lawyers, Brian Friedman and team, are seeing the creators talk about it now. So they're going to use it against her. So I guarantee you her side is going to say, like, whatever we're doing, we got to kind of calm it down. They're on to us. That's my guess. Look at this stuff, you guys, just in the comments. I want you guys to see this. This is a for real thing. I saw earlier, really fast. Anne-Marie says live notification is not showing for me either. So you're not getting notifications that I'm live. That's really interesting. That sucks, which is going to ruin my numbers, right? BZ says, I used to get notifications when you went live. I also am no longer getting your channel coming up, and I used to be live. I used to be on YouTube, live on YouTube. That's another thing. A lot of people are saying I'm not even seeing your show on my feed at all. Someone else just said, Nanny just said, I just checked my Instagram. I was following you, and when I just checked, I wasn't. No worries. I just followed again. Why? What's happening? That seems weird. Like, I don't want to be that paranoid person, but that seems weird. Yep, no notification for me today for live. Had to search and click while blue. Why? If they're doing this with creators, imagine what they're doing with evidence. Yep, I get late or no notification. I don't like it. I don't like it. It bothers me. So is this happening for Zach too? Well, someone just said, me either, Donna or Zach's. So it kind of like, we'll have to see. Agatha says I have to type your name to get you on YouTube. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so then finally, I have to show you this one video from Elsie, because Elsie just finds the best stuff. You may be curious to wonder exactly the connection between Paul Feig and Justin Baldoni. Paul Feig, who's directing A Simple Favor, Part 2, or Another Simple Favor, and directed A Simple Favor, big director, has been around forever, actually has met Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath. Did you know that? In fact, Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath interviewed Paul Feig, according to Elsie. It was posted on TikTok January 31st, 2023, this clip. So about, 6 months, 5 months before he started working with Blake Lively on the movie, but after Blake Lively had already signed on to work on It Ends With Us, right? Because Blake Lively signed on to It Ends With Us December 31st, 2022. Paul Feig had already worked with Blake Lively and was already in cahoots and good friends with Ryan Reynolds because he had done A Simple Favor back in 2018 or whenever. So Paul Feig gets on a Man Enough podcast. Maybe Blake and Ryan hooked that up for Justin. We don't know. Elsie finds this clip and she shares this. And you guys, she always gets the good stuff, okay? This is interesting. Watch this.
We figured out who we can blame for this situation. Paul Feig. Just listen.
We're a studio, Wayfair Studios. One particular project we're doing is a book that's called It Ends With Us, written by Colleen Hoover, partnering with a major studio. And it's a big deal for us, right? Big property. Justin's at the helm directing this. So now we're about to go into prep and all the stuff for this movie. And he's going in, he's going to do brilliant. And yet, there's this person in the back of your mind, in the shoulder, that's reminding you of how you can fail, how you may not do this right, and such and such. What would you say in your experience? And maybe this is addressed in that question, but also in general, as people, humanity, as men, as we question ourselves all the time. What would you say to a Justin?
I say, let it happen. It's going to be there. I don't trust anybody who doesn't have super confidence going into anything means you're not open to other people's input. My thing I always say is you have to be confident enough to have no confidence, because
I love that so much.
I love it.
I
love that.
That hits deep, and I resonate so much with that.
Did Blake send Paul Feig in there to disarm Justin? Had Paul Feig told Justin Baldoni anything other than have enough confidence to have no confidence? You're telling me we wouldn't be in this position? The irony of Paul Feig being the one to give Justin that advice is stunning. I wonder how many times he had just allowed himself to have no confidence and let Blake Lively walk all over him. Paul Feig is who did this to us? That's who we are jumping? We ride at dawn. We fucking ride at dawn. Paul Feig, you're going to answer for your crimes.
She's obviously being a little sarcastic, but I had no idea that Paul Feig spoke to Justin Baldoni on that podcast. Now I want to go listen to the entire episode. For some reason, and I don't know a lot about Paul Feig at all as a person, for some reason, because of the way he's handling the Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively drama, I find him to be like a big pushover. I don't know why. I feel like he's like in the palm of their hands, and he bugs me so much in just like this whole drama, how he's like, she's amazing. She hasn't done anything. She's wonderful. She's the easiest person to work with. Stop talking about it. You know how he approached it on the comment section. And then when he went to SNL and he's like, thank you so much, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, for being the best date, in a picture with Paul McCartney. Like, he kind of really bugs me. I don't know much about him, but I don't like him in this experience. And there's an energy there. He already knew that Blake Lively, who has a very bad reputation on sets, maybe didn't with him, but we know she does, had just been hired to work with Justin Baldoni. And he tells him, it's okay to have zero confidence. You shouldn't have confidence going in there. I guarantee you Justin Baldoni was, I'm just going to be 100% honest, was probably, I'm just going to be a little crude, shitting bricks going into this movie. I think Justin Baldoni was shitting bricks going into It Ends With Us. With the pressure of Sony, with the pressure of the budget, with the pressure of Blake, with the pressure of Perineum, with the pressure of, Clinton Taint. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot. And my guess is my guess, it was a lot of pressure. And then to talk to a big director like Paul and get that kind of energy, which is just like, it's normal to not feel confident and just like, you know, let that voice just kind of take over where it's okay. And like, I don't know, Justin should have had just like a little bit more self-respect going into that movie. But that's so normal. He had imposter syndrome. And the imposter syndrome took over. That's what I think. That's what I think happened in that movie. Don't you think? It's just so like, it's just such a crazy story. And what's really weird is like we have not heard a thing about anything from Justin. Have you guys heard anything from Justin at any time since this? Like, he's been quiet as a mouse, silent, nothing, quiet, so silent. He will be 100%. You know, I got a DM, not a DM. I got a post on my Facebook group. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, Daily Dose of Donna, make sure you join. Okay. I got a post yesterday on my Facebook group saying, thank you, Donna, for continuing to talk about this case. Because my son was wrongfully accused as a teenager for something similar like this. And he has autism, and he sadly was, you know, suicidal because of it. And luckily, she admitted to being a liar, and he was, you know, basically not charged with anything. It broke my heart. Being a mom of preteens, I mean, I have a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old, but this can happen to anyone. And I just thought about that in that sad post. And then there was a comment under the post from someone else that said, oh my gosh, me too. This literally happened to my son as well. And think about how many people this happens to. And then I thought about Justin, and it really, really, really saddened me. Because just because he's an adult, and just because he's a dad, and just because he's, you know, got a career of his own, and just because he's this and then, but this is on such a grander scale and such a larger scale. Don't think it's any easier just because he's an adult. It's just so sad. It's so sad. I don't know. The whole thing actually just has some really sad undertones if you actually think about it. So we always have to remember like why we started talking about it, you know, before it got like all messy with all the layers and the PR and all that shit. You know, I just hope he can like remain a good person after this, or like have a heart after this, because that like poor heart of his, honestly, like he probably doesn't see the good in a lot of people anymore. How can you see the good in people after this? You know? Sandra says, Donna, I couldn't find your show today. I had to look you up manually. Hello. I'm here. Do you see me? Yeah, it can turn you bitter. That's 100%. 100%. Very, very crazy. Okay. One other thing I wanted to talk about, just we write it down. Another thing I wanted to talk about really fast. I thought it was an interesting story, and I wanted to talk about Millie Bobby Brown really before we end the show really fast. But before I do, well, actually, let's just get into it. So Millie Bobby Brown, she has talked back to these journalists who have talked shit about her. And I have to admit something. I felt really, really guilty. I have to admit that I apologize for my inner dialogue, because I have personally judged Millie Bobby Brown in the last week or so, or 2 weeks, because when I have been looking at Millie Bobby Brown on her red carpet pictures and in her looks, I have been thinking to myself, oh my God, Millie Bobby Brown has been feeling like very maternal in a lot of her pictures. She's been looking a little bit older than her age, and it's been shocking to see. And I think most people have been feeling that, right? Like the way she's dressing and the way her hair is looking, like it's been kind of a little jarring because we still see her as like little Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. So it's been a little bit hard. And I truthfully do not like I didn't mean it in like a very negative, mean way. And I didn't even talk about it on the show. But now I feel actually awful about it. I really do, because she came out yesterday and spoke about it. And seeing this, you guys, I feel so bad. But she actually did something. She called out these journalists who have called her out for aging too fast. And then it made me really look inside, and I'm like, God, I feel bad that I even had those thoughts, right? So this is what she said on her Instagram.
Hi everyone, it's Millie. I want to take a moment to address something that I think is bigger than just me, something that affects every young woman who grows up under public scrutiny. I think this is very necessary to talk about. I started in the industry when I was 10 years old. I grew up in front of the world, and for some reason, people can't seem to grow up with me. Instead, they act like I'm supposed to stay frozen in time, like I should still look the way I did on Stranger Things Season 1. And because I don't, I'm now a target. I want to talk about some of the articles that have recently released while I'm on my press tour, and some of the writers who are so desperate to tear young women down. One article reads, "Why are Gen Zers like Millie Bobby Brown aging so badly?" Written by Lydia Hawkett. "What has Millie Bobby Brown done to her face?" Written by John Eli. "Millie Bobby Brown mistaken for someone's mum as she guides younger sister Ava through LA." Written by Cassie Carpenter. Another article reads, "Little Britain's Matt Lucas takes savage swipe at Millie Bobby Brown's new mummy makeover look." Written by Bethann Edwards. Amplifying an insult rather than questioning why a grown man is mocking a young woman's appearance. This isn't journalism. This is bullying. The fact that adult writers are spending their time dissecting my face, my body, my choices is disturbing, and the fact that some of these articles are written by women makes it even worse. We always talk about supporting and uplifting young women, but when it comes down to it, it seems a lot easier to just tear them down for clicks. Disillusioned people can't handle seeing a girl become a woman on her terms, not their own. I refuse to apologize for growing up. I refuse to make myself smaller to fit the unrealistic expectations of people who can't handle seeing a girl become a woman. I will not be shamed for how I look, how I dress, or how I present myself. We have become a society where it's so much easier to criticize than it is to pay a compliment. Why is it the knee-jerk reaction to say something horrible rather than just say something nice? If you have a problem with that, I have to wonder, what is it that actually makes you so uncomfortable? Let's do better, not just for me, but for every young girl who deserves to grow up without the fear of being torn apart for simply existing. Thank you.
Oh, you guys, I have to do better with that. I had to show you guys that because I really truly need to do better. When I saw that, I was like, I felt, when you see something that makes you feel uncomfortable because you realize like I am the problem sometimes. I truly I realized I was like, shit, like I judged her. I didn't talk about it on the show. Like I said, I didn't make a whole thing about it, but I thought it, and I showed it in my stories, and I was like, why does she look like so much old? You know what I mean? And some of it can be just attributed to style. It really, I think it was just like a styling choice. And sometimes, and it's interesting because we do tear apart Oscar's looks, we'll show Oscar's looks and dresses and this and this and that. But when you see one girl taking apart like 6 different articles and calling it out, like she was getting it real bad, real strong, and just being on the receiving end of a small amount of like a lot of hate just this last week, like it really does hurt. And I feel bad. I just really do feel bad. So we all deserve better. We all should do better when it comes to especially stuff like that, like physicality and looks. And it's like a fine line between like snarking and trying to be funny and then also being really mean. You know, people make fun of my looks so much online. People are so mean to me about the way I look and about, you know, how big my forehead is and my big eyes, and they call me all kinds of names and stuff, and it really hurts my feelings too. So let's try to all be better about looks, you know? I've definitely said mean things in the past that I really regret trying to be funny, you know? That being said, can we still talk shit about Jax? Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, you guys. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Let's continue the story later. We'll continue to talk about other things as they come across our desk. And I'm gonna buy you all a brooch. A brooch. We need it. Love you all. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.